Hello, Jim. How you doing, sir? This is Dion. Hope all is well for you. Instead of doing as we talked, like we wrap back and forth about, about the discussion about equipment for flight simulation, I wanted to, as you can see on the screen right now, the MGL. I noticed, as a matter of fact, you got Aero TV right there. Um, got your logo right there, which is awesome. What I'm talking about is that basically, I'm really would like to see if over at Oshkosh the developers are actually producing equipment that is, I don't want to say dumbed down. That's a wrong term. I want to say that is more of an affordable of what you would see in a real aircraft. Which it'd be nice to have a 7-inch, 10-inch, whatever, where a user such as myself, who's a flight simulation enthusiast, basically buy this product like the 10.4 that you see right here. I guess I better not just start using my hands here. I'll be sitting there trying to wave my Jedi mind tricks on you. Um, that if like in a flight simulation world, everything has to be considerably less than, and I'm sure you're aware of this already, than in the real world. It just has to be. There's just no option. It has to be less. Like this 10.4 right here. The price point for a 10.4 flat panel, basically you're paying for the software. Should be right around $199 tops for a flight simulation enthusiast. Wow, that's really cheap. Why? They can't afford to do that. Well, they have to. They really have to. They really need to make this stuff inexpensive, so flight simulation enthusiasts can get their hands on this product, and then be able to apply that knowledge by just tinkering with it, just getting. Because you'll find what you already know of this is that a lot of people are like myself. The only way we learn is by doing. Is not by the book learning. It's not by taking tests. It's actually getting out there, flying and learning. A lot of my stuff that I have learned by flight simulation or by flight is basically watching YouTube videos, watching other people do things, and then applying what I learned in my flight simulations. I mean, for instance, I'll go over here and I'll just whip up Sky Vector, right, as an example right here. I've already got a flight plan already installed in here. I never would have, matter of fact, I'll go ahead and apply the flight plan. There we go. I never, as a flight simulation enthusiast, ever would have launched onto this until I just happened to stumble upon, Sky Vector. And this is freaking awesome. Being able to, for flight simulation, be able to take this and put it in my flight simulation and then fly it. I'd like to be able to right click on this, collect all this data, and then take it and put it in to the MGL automatically. Just right click, insert it in there, and then go fly. I know there's ForeFlight and other stuff like that, which, that's fine. That's good. But this right here is cheap because it's free, and free is good. Free is always good. Inexpensive is my main focus. Is keeping everything low, 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 as much as possible. But still, the people who are producing this stuff also needs to make money. I'm being redundant here, or being what you already know, and I apologize for that. But like I said, being able to take this stuff, put it in, like into the MGL or other, and that's why I'm reaching out to you. Like, hey, besides MGL is what came to mind right off the bat. I can't think of the indies, but if there's any other products out there that a manufacturer for real flight products could make a version of their products. Like I said, $199 is the extreme price point because you'd end up spending $500 for, let's say, after tax and everything, to be able to have an MFD and a PFD as an example that a user would buy. That's quite a healthy amount of money. But the advantage is that now, as a flight simulation enthusiast and aviation enthusiast, I can take this, what I've learned from this, and apply it right into the real aircraft. That comfort zone just went up tremendously, because now it's like, oh yeah, this button goes over here, this button goes over there, rock on, we're ready to grow. I already know what to do. And then that takes less flight time that's costing me. See, here in Southern California, I talked to a flight or a pilot who told me, now granted this is only one pilot, but told me that, yeah, the cheapest flight instruction here in Southern California, go to Vegas, go to North Las Vegas, $80 an hour. Everywhere else is considerably more. So having that kind of cost, you just don't have that kind of disposable income when you are a common man, love flight, and just can't afford, have that kind of disposable income to be sitting there doing that sort of thing. Having spend your money on the front end, having all this stuff where you have as much knowledge on your own, sitting at your home computer, with X-Plane or Microsoft Flight Simulator. Obviously, X-Plane. If you ever ask why, hey Dion, why are you using X-Plane? It's real simple. X-Plane, to me personally, it's personal preference. I feel is the future of flight simulation, not Microsoft Flight FSX, for the simple reason that Microsoft no longer supports it, no longer does anything with Flight Simulator, so they have no invested interest in flight simulation. So it's to me, it's a dead platform. The Prepared, you ask, well, why about Prepared 3D? Well, Prepared 3D is owned by Lockheed Martin. Yes, they are a defense contractor, aviation, but their primary focus is defense aviation, not flight simulation aviation. And so because of that, they can pull the plug at any given moment, and they could decide that, you know what, this is no good, and you spend, $199 for a license if you are a flight simulation enthusiast, just to have the rights to it on an inferior product, or on a product that's old, because it's based off the Microsoft Flight Simulator platform, just with their own version. So that's why I went with X-Plane. Lamar Research and X-Plane has an extreme vested interest in producing product that caters to the flight simulation community, because that's their business. That's all they do. That's their main thing. So that's why X-Plane. If just on a side note, sorry for the tangent there, but just so you have a full understanding. But like I said, back to MGL, is that MGL, they need to come out with a product. Like I said, $199 tops. Two. Spending $500 on two or so, 100 and 450, whatever, on two 10-inch. PDF and MFD, but being able to take that knowledge right off the bat and apply it. Same with the Garmin 1000. I'll zip over here to the video that Steve at Flight Chops did. Being able to take Garmin, which I know is probably a harder sell for Garmin to do it, but they have more finances, I would think, as far as their business model, and they probably got more money, for lack of a better term. That if they can make their product a product that is $199, and like I said, I'm sticking with this $199 because it's just $249 or higher. A flight simulation enthusiast is only going to be able to buy one of it, and then that's it. And it's just, you just don't have it. You just don't have the funds to be able to buy this stuff. Anything more than $199. A price of a console, for lack of a better term. A game console. And that's another thing, because that is who your key people are. Not only myself, but younger people, because I'm 50 years old, man. I'm an old SOB now, so I've got grandkids now, or grandkid now, so I just different mindset. But going after the younger kids who are teens, 20s, that sort of thing, that they don't have a lot of money to spend, and if they can get into something like this, where they can just get into it and get familiar with all the buttons, knobs, software, how it works, why it works, how does it work, and that sort of thing, and then put it in your X-Plane simulation, go right to the real world, and just like I'm being redundant here, but that's really it is in a nutshell, is being able to bridge that gap between flight simulation, make it affordable, and to go into real and already have that background knowledge already know. We're living in a good time right now as far as electronics and uh, and technology. We're living in a good time where you buy this stuff for a low cost and get into it, and then it just makes it so much easier in stepping in, getting into the real thing. Now you're going to say, well, this is based on a glass cockpit scenario, and that is true. Well, what about all of the steam gauge stuff? Well, the steam gauge stuff, to be honest with you, yes, I like steam gauges too, but the reality is that you've got I could pull it up right here real quick. SciTech, the SciTech stuff has the emulators on there. Let me go over here real quick and see if I can get to it right here in a timely fashion here. They they have their multi-panel, their instrument panels. They have all their little instrument things that you see right here. This is good, but this stuff is like, what, 149. Well, let's just buy it real quick. Okay, we'll just buy it right here. And this is at Amazon. And what are our prices? 149. Yeah, 149 before shipping and all this other crap. That's just one unit. Okay, well, you got to buy a 6-pack. That adds up really, really quick. That's why trying to emulate a steam gauge is just a waste, a financial waste from a flight simulator, unless you flight simulation person, other than if you absolutely just want to have that look of a steam gauge. Nobody makes steam gauges. It just doesn't make financial sense for somebody to make a real world steam gauge that basically has servos on the inside to emulate what what it would be in a real aircraft. That's why I just don't think the steam gauge is the thing to do. I mean, just concentrate. And if I was going to go out in the real world, I would say, okay, I'm going to learn to fly, but right off the bat, I've already got my personal training on a glass cockpit form of some form or another, whether it be MGL or Garmin, or if these guys would come out with products would do that. So I'm already going to bypass a 172 with steam gauges and go right to one that is got a glass cockpit. Reason being, least path of resistance, the quickest way for me to learn to fly, because this is the cheapest solution or inexpensive solution that a person that's new could come into, buy this for their home, set it up, and then migrate to the real world, have the same thing, and rock on. The steam gauges are great, but really, to be honest, it's a thing of the past. To learn to fly, you want to go with something that is your least path of resistance, and that is the key to everything. I mean, everything. I'm a flight simulation guy. I'm a gamer, a computer gamer. World of Warcraft, Star Wars, or Star Trek, or Star Wars: The Old Republic. Things like that. Those are the people, the crowd that you're trying to entice to get into aviation. There's a lot of facets. I mean, for as an example, World of Warcraft. Once you get to a certain level in that game, boom, you're flying. You have the ability to fly, to go anywhere in the world and fly around. It's a very rudimentary flying, but still it sparks that idea in a person's mind, like, wow, it'd be kind of cool to do that in the real world. That kind of thing. And then it sparks that idea and then transitions to, oh, I'll go get a simulator. Okay, well, oh, you know what? I really like this a lot. I think I'll just go ahead and see if there's a product out there that I can buy that I can take my skills here at home and apply it to the real world. You see where I'm going with that train of thought. And it all sparked by me, 13 years old, if I was, which I'm not, but if I was playing World of Warcraft, in Star Trek Online, which I don't play anymore, but still, that whole thing is based around spaceships, flying in spaceships. The spark of flying. Star Citizen. Star Citizen, that's all around flying. It's just in space, but still flying in three-dimensional space. Same with Elite Dangerous. These are all games that are center around flight. And you get somebody playing that game, spend their $50 and buy their game, and then they get that interest like, hey, you know what, I might want to fly. And then that starts the domino effect where you'd want to get products such as this. So that's my mindset. That's where I'm coming from. And I see a market that, if these developers would take this, and especially the Garmin, MGL, and whoever you can think of that has this stuff, because like I said, I'm drawing a blank on anybody else besides Garmin and MGL. And this is a video that Steve did, and I'll make it a little bit bigger there. And showing how basically the startup process on a 172 with a Garmin. Okay, I just learned something by watching this video real quick. Before I started the video talking to you, Jim, where there was a couple of things on how to start the airplane with a Garmin 1000 that I didn't know just by watching this video. I don't have a plane that has a Garmin 1000 in the game, but that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want to have to be pushing the buttons. I mean, it's a help. It's actually an entry level before you start buying the Garmin 1000, stuff that you can put on your screen, on that's outside the simulation. But that's a start. That's another start. I guess I could need to revise what I just said about the progression, but the other progression would be to buy, you buy an airplane that has, if I go over here to xplane.org store as an example right here, and go to the store, and then go over here to General Aviation. I think Coronado has it. I'm not for sure on the Cessna 172. Skylane's got one though, and I'll try to get to it here. And then, you would have this as your initial start, and then you jump on to the Garmin 1000 in, that would be a physical, tangible thing. That would be that next level beyond just clicking the buttons inside the simulator. So that's pretty much it. I've gone long enough here. I'm coming up on 20 minutes here. But like I said, that's what we need. We need these manufacturers, and hopefully you can bend some ears and talk to these manufacturers and say, hey, I got this, this Dion guy over here in Southern California that brought up a point that, hey, if you guys have products that for $199 as an example, which is basically a piece of plastic and software, that would emulate what you have for real. And, there's a market here for it. People like me would buy it. Because right now, to sum up, there is other manufacturers out there from a simulation hardcore simulating part where they are, I think there's Sim Avionics or something like that was one. But it's their own derivative of kind of doing the same thing, kind of what the Garmin 1000 is. The Garmin's kind of like the staple. It's kind of like the one that everybody points to, like, hey, yeah, this is what we have for our flight simulation, but it's mostly software, and then they put it on there. Then you sit there and you have it on your Apple tablet. And that's fine, but it doesn't give you the knobs. It doesn't give you the bezel where you can have the knobs and turn the knobs and stuff, where it gives you that tactile function of what it would be in a real aircraft. So I just think Garmin needs to do the same. Needs to take it by the horns, because everybody's emulating a Garmin, or everybody's, MGL is kind of emulating to a degree a Garmin, I guess you could say. I don't know that that's an exact right argument to be made or not, but still, it's on the same premise of a glass cockpit. Just take your information, take the stuff you got, make it a panel. Put the software into it, have it interface with into the plugins folder as an example, for X-Plane as an example, that it works 100% with X-Plane, and then you're golden. You're good to go. I can take that panel and I can rock on. Now, even better is if you buy a product, if they would change their product up, their product line up where you would actually have the panel that you would use in your home flight simulation, and then turn around and take it out of its cradle. That's the only word I can think of right now. And then take it and put it into the cradle into the airplane itself. So even after you're a seasoned veteran of a pilot, you just basically take part of your avionics with you over and drop it in from home to it. So, oh, I can't go fly today because it's really windy, or it's more windy than I want to deal with, or it's too hot, or whatever excuse you come up with. But in here, sitting in my house, I can just do whatever I want and pick that thing, put it in your cradle here at home, and then continue to fly, and that sort of thing. So that's pretty much a sum up here. Like I said, 20 minutes now, and that's pretty much where I'm coming from, is that these ideas of taking their product, moving it from interchangeable between your home cockpit at home and by doing that via design their product around that, and you accomplish everything that I've been talking about in this video. Being able to have your stuff right there, just transition between one and the other. So those are my thoughts. I appreciate it. I appreciate you taking this time to watch this video. And but yeah, that's what I want to see in Oshkosh. I'd like to see in Oshkosh if MGL, if Garmin, if other manufacturers have stepped up to the plate and say, hey, here's this untapped market. Yes, it is a small market. There is no question about it. There's very few of us compared to the grand scheme of things. There's very few of us, but that makes it so we can get in and go to that next level, and that will compound up. That will just keep on going up and get more and more and more. And I'm waving my hand like I'm a Jedi. I apologize. You take care, and you have yourself a great one. This is Dion Markgraf, aka Dion Soul. You take care, and you have yourself a great one, sir. Bye-bye.